I appreciate you being with me. Thanks. Hi, everybody in the chat room. Hello. Good to see you. People are pulling in. Yes. Trump said nobody fucks with a Biden. So, of course, the answer to that from the right wing is everybody start fucking with Bidens. It's just that's the only way they know how to respond to this in general. I'm just saying. And we got a lot to talk about. There's too many clips. There's too much stuff to get to. It's going to be impossible. Literally, I haven't even watched this nonsense, but this just looks hideous. This business, this Trump Hispanic conference, America First Works, AFPI, La Agenda de America Primero, the America First in Spanish, which there's a time when the MAGAs would be all mad that you even said it in other language. And yet, they don't give a shit right now, I guess. Okay, but first, breaking news. The news is broken. Clearly from this, you can tell. Federal agents believe they have enough evidence to charge Hunter Biden. American Agenda. Newsmax. Dun, 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 dun. I'm excited. I don't doubt it for a second. This is going to be exciting. And no doubt, it's all from the laptop that doesn't exist.
Well, we have some breaking news on Hunter Biden.
What? Some breaking news on Hunter Biden? That, you know what that means? The Russians are getting their ass kicked and Trump just lost in court. That's what that means.
Washington Post reporting that federal agents have gathered what they believe is enough evidence to charge the president's son with tax crimes and a false statement related to a gun purchase.
Okay. All right. Not even related to anything that's even alleged in the fucking laptop. Because, as we know, he's been engaged in a tax issue with the government for a while. He's going to pay a fine. I don't give a shit. Knock yourself out. Okay. Nothing to do with the, quote, laptop. Now, he gave another laptop. His lawyers gave another laptop that he actually owns to the feds to look through and gave them a bunch of papers and evidence and that kind of stuff because they got a subpoena and they complied with it. Unlike Trump. So, again, this is like Pelosi's husband to some degree. If you fuck around, find out. That's totally fine. Ultimately, though, this is... I can't wait. Are they... Please say laptop. Please just say laptop.
White House correspondent James Rosen has been following the story. He joins us from the White House. James.
That's where it's all going down.
Bob and Katrina, good afternoon. No early comment from the White House in response to this Washington Post bombshell, which has just...
I'm going with green screen. Fucking green screen. I'm going with green screen. He might be there, but I'm going with green screen.
Crossed. Newsmax, of course, has not independently verified the contents of this Washington Post.
All right. Newsmax has not independently verified the contents of a Washington Post article. I got news for you, fucko. You don't have the means and the wherewithal to do actual reporting. All Newsmax does is chatter and barrel edition news theft.
Post reporting, but in essence, once again, to recap, the newspaper is reporting that federal investigators for the FBI, working in tandem with other agencies, including the Internal Revenue Service, have
mainly the Internal Revenue Service
preliminarily determined that enough evidence exists to charge Hunter Biden, the president's son, with alleged tax crimes. And
that's just a record. Dick selfies in front of open drawers, I guess, are not tax crimes. This is, by the way, this is not a copy of Hunter Biden's. He didn't send in this picture instead of file his taxes 1 year.
And an alleged false statement relating to a gun purchase.
He went, "You mean this gun?" And they're like, "Dude." And he was like, "Busted." And you're like, "You're not really."
The Washington Post says the decision now.
What the fuck are they showing pictures of him? Again, I would go with whoever the honeypot hooker that the Russians set him up with, putting the pipe in his mouth as he's asleep, covering up with a... By the way, he was chilly and sleepy. Both states you get in when you smoke crack.
of what must be, of how this case is going to be handled, rests with the Trump-appointed U.S. Attorney in Delaware, David Weiss, who has been overseeing this investigation since
That's the edited crack video.
2018.
Which, by the way, I think that's just snow at this point. I'm literally just snow.
We can't confirm this reporting. I can
No, you can't confirm this reporting because you don't do reporting. But okay.
tell you that my own sources have indicated that the decision isn't entirely David Weiss's, that in cases of extraordinary political sensitivity, it's quite common, rolling back over the years, for a U.S. attorney to acquaint the senior levels of the Department of Justice leadership with the status of an investigation of these ramifications.
Okay, so this is just, all right. What's the Washington Post article? Let's look at the Washington, come on. All right, Washington Post, Hunter Biden, something. And Hunter Biden is the evidence, this is 2 hours ago. Here it is. This is the article they're talking about. Federal agents see chargeable tax gun purchase case against Hunter Biden. Delaware U.S. Attorney David Weiss, a Trump appointee, must decide whether to charge the son of the current. Okay, so, all right. Federal agents investigating President Biden's son, Hunter, have gathered what they believe is sufficient evidence to charge him with tax crimes and a false statement related to a gun purchase. That's the one where he said, I'm not an addict or I don't use drugs on his gun purchase thing, on his application. The next step is for the U.S. Attorney in Delaware, Trump administration holdover, to decide on whether to file such charges. These people said the investigation into Hunter Biden began in 2018, became a center of focus, overseas business, tied consulting. Over time, investigators from multiple agencies focused closely on whether he did not report all of his income, whether he lied on a gun purchase paperwork in 2018. Let's see. By the way, where are the 2A purists? The right to bear arms shall not be infringed. I don't care if you're an addict or a psychopath. I don't care if you have a history of domestic violence. You should be allowed to have a gun, unless you're Biden's son, in which case, throw the book at him. But it is ultimately up to prosecutors at the Justice Department, not agents. Right, we know. Are these the same agents that are whistleblowers calling Tucker Carlson? Given the intense political interest, Garland has vowed there be no political or otherwise improper interference. That's fine. Spokeswoman for Weiss declined to comment, as did spokespeople for the Justice Department, the FBI, IRS. Yeah, because, all right. Asked about the case, Chris Clark, a lawyer for Hunter Biden, accused investigators of leaking information. It is a federal felony for a federal agent to leak information about a grand jury investigation, such as this one. Any agent you cite as a source in your article apparently has committed such a felony. We expect the Department of Justice will diligently investigate and prosecute such bad actors as is proper and legally required. We believe the prosecutors in this case are diligently and thoroughly weighing not just evidence provided by agents, but also by other witnesses in this case, which is what's going to happen if you actually, that's why we have due process, including witnesses for the defense. That is the job for prosecutors. They should not be pressured, rushed, or criticized for doing their job. Right. March, the Washington Post reported the two computer security experts reviewed thousands of emails purportedly. Okay, not related. Reviewed thousands of emails purportedly from Hunter Biden's computer, not even using laptop anymore, and found there are authentic communications. Yes, all of the Bed Bath & Beyond coupons were all sent on the same day that Bed Bath & Beyond sent out coupons, based on cryptographic signatures from Google and other technology companies. This is spam, is what they're talking about. It could not be determined for this article whether the laptop and its contents were useful in the Justice Department investigation. I could tell you, no. Because the chain of evidence on this thing is such shit that any first-year law student could get it thrown out. It's goofy and stupid. Please continue.
I'm told that a key player at this stage in the DOJ leadership is the Deputy Attorney General, Lisa Monaco. Were the
Not Lisa Monaco.
senior levels of the Department of Justice to come to a different conclusion about how the Hunter Biden case should be disposed of, wouldn't necessarily be unprecedented. For example, we saw the Attorney General in the last administration, William Barr, overrule the career line prosecutors with respect to the recommended sentencing for Roger Stone. Nonetheless, this remains a case, particularly in the midterm cycle, of extraordinary political sensitivity.
No, it's boring and stupid, and you just threw this in, and this story's being floated, and these Fed dudes are leaking stuff to the Washington Post to try and gin up this story before the election this fall, as if it will have any fucking impact, and it won't. There's a shit ton. You can tell how fucked up, how worried they are about the midterms by how much Hunter Biden bullshit is coming about. like coming out. And again, none of it's new. It's just story after story after story. I'll show you. Hold on. Where's another one? Was this one? No, wait, where is it? Yeah, wait. Okay, so Tony Bobulinski, this dude, reveals harrowing details of Hunter Biden's business dealings. This is on Tucker. Exclusive interview. Tony Bobulinski, this guy who was in business with Hunter Biden, and then everybody else in the organization kicked him out. And he's got the mads. And so he's been out for revenge ever since, and sending in stuff. Well, let's see what he has to say. I'm curious. This harrowing details. Apparently, all of the contracts that were signed in Hunter Biden's deals were done on tight ropes over pits of crocodiles. Yeah, Tony Bobulinski. Tony the knob Bobulinski.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for coming, Tony. And by the way, thank you for coming to Tucker's Book Barn. What the fuck is first of all right, Room Raider for a moment. Bullshit books. Not like, I can't make out a name in sight, and you're not supposed to. They got a little table, these two chairs, little area rug. This door over here is supposed to be an authentic barn door. There is no fucking glass in those. There is a smoke machine going, and the light coming in looks like a car pulling up in the X-Files. This is as phony as I think he has the same prop master and set designer as Russell Brand. Jesus Christ. Get over yourselves. Just get a goddamn studio. I like wood. All right.
2 years since we've sat across from each other.
And nothing has changed.
Expect to have a second interview with you.
Yeah, because there's really, this is a waste of both of our time.
I'm grateful that we're able
I had to take time off from my ball tanning.
to. Thank you. So when we
Quick edit.
spoke before, you
2 years ago. Let's just
described what you believed were Hunter Biden and the Biden family's effective.
By the way, I would like you to notice that when he says Biden family in this, Bobulinski does this, Tucker does this a lot. When they're talking about this, especially around these deals that Bobulinski did, they mean Hunter Biden and James Biden. James Biden was actually in on some of the business deals that Hunter was working on. He mentored him in business, trying to get him on his feet, by the way. He was also acting as sort of the local family sponsor, trying to get him straight along with his dad. So they would kind of tag team. And James, because he was not vice president of the United States and not doing former vice president kind of shit all over the world, had more free time than, to one-on-one with Hunter than Joe did. And Joe apparently did anyways, but they say Biden family all the time because Hunter Biden and James Biden are family. Now, there's a bunch of other people involved in these deals, and they're not related at all, but they're technically the Biden family because it's kind of a family business that isn't.
Effectively, offenses against the United States.
Yes, offenses against the United States. All right, that's a big one. That's a reach. Like I would say something, you'd have to do something like, I don't know, steal classified documents and store them at a rental property when you're not even fucking there to watch them.
Ways that their business practices had undermined U.S. national security.
Yeah, they just undermine the U.S. national security. How? How did they undermine U.S. national security? You think we're being more deferential to China than we were under Trump? Really? Biden has said multiple times, we will defend Taiwan if China attacks. It would literally signs more sanctions on chips in the last 3 months than we've done in 8 years.
But there was also an offense against you.
Well, that's the worst. I mean, nobody Bob's Bobulinski.
what seemed like fraud.
It seemed like fraud. Oh no, not fraud. You mean Bobulinski might be a disgruntled employee of a business deal that didn't actually go?
And now 2 years later, we have, I think, a pretty hard example of what that looked like. So
yeah, so let's go.
if you wouldn't mind explaining to us, this is, I think, going back to the spring and summer of 2017.
2017, spring, summer. Got it. Okay.
Sinohawk Holdings.
Sinohawk, Chinese hawk, Sinohawk. We're hawkish about China. We named the company Sinohawk, which sounds like you're against China, but okay.
Okay.
What was that?
So Sinohawk Holdings was a Delaware LLC, which was effectively a partnership between the Biden family, myself.
The Biden family. So everybody gets a piece. Ashley's got a piece. Jill's got a piece. You know, Shemp. I don't know how many Bidens there are.
Rob Walker and James Gillier, and a Chinese large company called CEFC.
Okay, this is the CEFC deal. We've talked about this before.
Which turned out to effectively be the capitalistic arm of, President Xi's One Belt, One Road.
Yes.
And
No, not the capitalistic arm of One Belt, One Road. First of all, the Belt Road Initiative is an enormous project, and there are multiple entities in there. Not CEFC is not the singular arm of the whole fucking thing. There are, Jesus Christ, do you have any idea how many projects they've been doing? Oh, God. Now I understand why everybody kicked him to the curb.
so Sinohawk Holdings was the entity that Chairman Yi, who was the chairman of CFC, and an entity called Hudson West 4 owned 50% of Sinohawk Holdings.
Okay, so the Chinese guy and from CEFC and this other company own 50% of Sinohawk Holdings.
And an entity that represented the Biden family, myself, James Gillier, and Rob Walker, called Oneida Holdings.
Okay, so Oneida Holdings was everyone with the last name Biden in the United States, this asshole, and two other people.
Owned the other 50% of that entity.
So at the beginning of this deal, the Chinese were supposed to send Sinohawk money. How?
Yeah, they're going to send you money. Bring it. And we're a cheap date. We will sink the United States, destroy this country. Fuck it. Who cares if your grandkids live here? It's time to put a bullet in America's head on behalf of the Chinese for the big bucks. We're talking bazillions. Let's hear it.
How much?
Yeah, so actually, I'm glad you asked the question because a lot of discussion has been about the $10 million.
$10 million. $10 million. Hold on. Oh, stupid Forbes thing. Okay. How President Joe Biden went from middle-class Joe to $8 million in net worth. He and his wife Jill have a net worth together of $8 million. The couple built the majority of that wealth after vacating the vice presidency. Turns 80 years old on November 20th. While he is the oldest president to take office, he's not the richest. He and his wife Jill have a net worth of $8 million, according to Forbes' estimate. They came into their wealth recently. Biden has touted himself as middle-class Joe for decades. The couple's fortune is mostly tied to public speaking engagements and book royalties, according to tax returns and financial disclosures released by the Biden campaign and published on the campaign's website. It's weird when you put your actual financial disclosures and your tax stuff on the website. A spokesperson for Biden didn't respond to requests for comment from Business Insider on his net worth for or personal life. Keep reading for okay. Assets. Let's see. Biden surpassed the 270. Okay, Biden in 2020 marked the third president raised, but the first as a millionaire. Took off in 72. Forbes estimated that they are collectively worth $8 million. Some of that comes from his federal pension. After Biden After Biden assumed the vice presidency, he rented out a cottage on his Wilmington property in his home state of Delaware for $26,400 a year, reportedly leasing it to the U.S. Secret Service in charge of protecting him. That's pretty cheap. Trump was making the Secret Service pay top dollar for rooms that he was undercutting on, for guests. When Biden left the White House, he was worth an estimated $2.5 million. Forbes reported that the majority of his net worth came from his Delaware home, like owning it and the price, like real estate going up, and his federal pension, which guaranteed him an annual income of some $160,000 for life. But the majority of Biden's wealth was built after he left office. Couple made more than $15 million from book royalties. Joe Biden's Promise Me Dad book from 2008 to 2017. Promises kept. Book sales picked up after Biden was announced as his running mate. 2013, the book was ultimately not lucrative. Biden's financial disclosures showed the book royalties close to zero. Promise Me Dad, however, released in 2017 is an account of Beau Biden's death from cancer. It topped the U.S. bestseller list briefly after its release and sold over 300,000 copies. And then there's the money Biden has made off of promoting it. According to his disclosures, he has paid $8,000 to $90,000 per single book tour stop. The book tour resulted in millions, according to Forbes. Speaking engagements contributed $2.4 million to the net worth. Jill's speaking fees tacked on $700,000. CNBC reported that Joe Biden took in as much as $190,000 in 2018 for one lecture at Drew University in New Jersey. I would like to say for the record, and some people have know that I've had this experience. I went and did a college, a small Rhode Island college, doing stand-up. I want to say like 2007, some shit like that, 2006 maybe. And it was one of the best paydays of my life as a stand-up, for it was one night. And I was like, wow. And it was because I'd been on a show and I was doing I Love the 80s and that kind of stuff. But it was like, I made $10K. That was a big deal. Like, holy smokes, for one show. They had somebody at the student union thing said, we would have paid you more, but that's all we have left in our budget, because we paid, Bill Cosby was here last weekend and he charged $125,000 a show, and he did 2 shows. And so we're basically broke. And so and I didn't just do, by the way, I didn't just do stand up. I also spoke to their LGBT group, and I spoke to one of their acting classes. Like, it was 2 days of work. It was, you guys know me. It's stuff I'd have done for free anyways, which is a lovely thing when life, does that. But they paid him $125,000 a fucking show. And so he made $250,000 that weekend. Bill Cosby did, at that school. And that, I mean, it's not even a big school. Like, God knows what the fuck he made at other schools. I also happen to know that one of the guys who used to run Sexy Liberal for us, who did our touring and set up a lot of our touring dates, was Cosby's, not his road manager, but he was his front agent for these things. He would advance the dates. And one of the things that Cosby, allegedly, I suppose I have to say, had on in his contract was a verbal agreement, a verbal addendum. In the verbal addendum, when he showed up, you had to hand him 10 grand in cash for the show. He got the rest of the money went through his agency, and because Camille would see it, and she would only see what was on the contract. But he himself, there was this whisper part of the contract on all of his shows, all of them, that he got 10K the minute you walked into town. He walked into town. Like, you showed up, somebody from a fucking little Rhode Island college, some like student activities coordinator person had to pull $10,000 out of the fucking bank and hand it to Bill Cosby in an envelope. And then the next night, because he had 2 shows, do it again. Well, you know where that money went. It went to escorts and all kinds of gnarly shit. That was he got handed his, like, fun money was my entire payday. So this 190,000 for Drew University in New Jersey, on that level, I'm telling you, ain't shit. To get a vice president to come speak, that was like a big deal. That's probably the entire, like the endowment from the alumni folks, like everybody kicked in, to make them shuffle the schedule and make it happen when they wanted to, and they upped the money to make it actually happen. That's it. Because Cosby was pulling $250,000 every fucking weekend he went out to these colleges. Colleges smaller, I don't know how big Drew University is, but smaller than Drew University. Just to give you a perspective on that payday. He didn't talk to Goldman Sachs and get $190K to go, don't worry about it, guys, I got your back. This Drew University. Unless Drew University is the Pentaveret, right? In total, the couple earned more than $50 million, according to tax filing, book royalties, speaking events, professor of practice fees provided by the University of Pennsylvania starting in 2017. That's it. Okay. So total net worth, $8 million. The Cosby thing was gross. Anyway, speaking of gross, you were saying something about $10 million to flush the entire fucking country down the toilet. Like he couldn't have done that earlier?
The Chinese were supposed to fund into Sinohawk Holdings. $5 million of that was representing their 50%.
So you put in $5 million, we put in $5 million. That's how the deal goes. Okay, how's that work? Let's see.
And the $5 million, they would call it a loan to the Biden family, but effectively it was a loan to Oneida Holdings to represent the original operating capital.
By the way, the Biden family, fuck you. You were in Oneida Holdings. If the Chinese government, if Sinohawk, if this group is giving $5 million to Oneida Holdings, he's supposed to be part of that money. He gets a fucking slice of that. Now, where do you think the problem lies? Do you think that actually happened?
And that was just operating capital.
Yeah, it was just fucking bullshit money. They're going to give us, we're supposed to put in 5, they're going to put in 5, but they're going to put in our 5. Just so we can get operating capital, so I can't show up in this. Fuck, we got light bills to pay, man.
That Sinohawk Holdings was set up to effectively deploy billions of dollars that CFC was claiming, and rightfully believable because they were doing it around the world, to invest via
I see. So he was hoping to get some of that sweet Belt and Road Initiative money. That this was about the Belt and Road Initiative. The Chinese government investing in infrastructure projects. James Biden had done infrastructure projects in Iraq, building schools and apartment buildings and that kind of shit. He guided those things. Those things got built. The investor money went where it was supposed to. Those buildings exist. So here we go. This is a continuing venture. And so his idea was, you can see what's happening here. Tony Bobulinski was like, fuck, I was this close to millions of dollars of Chinese money. And then I got fucked out of that money by the... No, that's not what happened?
Sinohawk in infrastructure projects.
He was so like, oh, God damn it, it was supposed to happen.
Technology companies, investment banks, financial institutions, both here in the U.S. and around the world.
So this is the limited liability company agreement of Sinohawk Holdings. And it says here, May 2017. What is this?
So that's actually a very intense legal document that's drafted and details how Sinohawk Holdings will operate, who are the partners involved in the end.
Yeah, LegalZoom, big shout out. They did killer work on this.
It basically dictates how the business, who sits on the board of it, who will run it day to day. I was the CEO of Sinohawk Holdings.
Okay, so the former CEO of Sinohawk Holdings, which was in business with the Chinese government and half funded, he was the CEO of Sinohawk. And so he was supposed to be the bridge between CEFC and Oneida Holdings, of which he was a partner. Stereophonics mom says, I can't follow this. No, nobody can. I'll tell you, like cut to the end. It didn't happen, and he was pissed. That's why he's mad at Hunter Biden, because there was a point where CEFC wanted to be 51% holding, like 51% owner in this company that they were putting together. And Hunter was apparently in some of these communications that they have said, yeah, we can't, unless they want to set up a company in the United States under United States rules, I can't do it. I can't be in business with a Chinese-held company this deep, and we're not going to do it. That's why it fell apart. And this fucker is still pissed.
And I was vested with certain rights and authorities and stuff like that.
Yeah, stuff like that.
And how you would distribute profits to the...
So I'd be the CEO in charge of distributing profits from this fucking billions of dollars, billions.
Partners and stuff. So a very detailed
Sorry,
document and fully executed. It's important because, when I came out in October 2020, a lot of people argued, well, that deal never happened. That deal 100% happened.
No, it didn't happen. It 100% fucking didn't happen.
That Sinohawk document that you're holding was fully executed, both by Jim Biden, Hunter Biden, myself, James Gilliar, Rob Walker, and then on the Chinese side.
Okay, what I tell you, when he says Biden family, he means Hunter Biden and James Biden for this particular deal. And it was 100% executed. Yeah, they signed on to it. And I bet your fucking ass there's a bunch of if-then clauses in any contract where you're putting a company together that if the money doesn't materialize or the job doesn't materialize or the people who are getting the money can't do the job that materializes, the fucking deal is off. Like, it's that. And at one point, Hunter Biden was freaking out because the dude that they were representing or that they were in business with, he's like, they realized at some point, like, this fucker's a spy. We're out.
Hudson West 4 executed the document. So it was a fully operating business.
So here,
Except for that whole money thing.
here's a very strange document, and
Very strange.
I hope you can explain it. This is a limited liability company agreement of BYZ Holdings, LLC. And this is from August 2nd of 2017.
Bobulinski.
3 months later. The reason this is strange is this document is identical down to the serial numbers on the bottom of the page to this document, the Sinohawk Holdings agreement.
Oh, so this is the part where Tony Bobulinski says that this is the real one and that's the fake one. And everybody else involved would say, this is the real one and Bobulinski's made a faked one. But, right.
Except it's got a different company name.
Yeah.
What is this?
So, interesting. So that document is exactly the same document as Sinohawk Holdings, LLC. And it appears that Hunter Biden, Jim Biden, and the Biden family...
And the Biden family, started Ashley type it up?
Literally copied the same...
Again, this whole and the Biden family, I don't know what the fuck that even means.
Same document down to typos, as you said, the serial number, and they removed Oneida Holdings, which was the Delaware LLC that represented Jim Biden, Hunter Biden, myself, Rob Walker, and James Gilliar.
What about the Biden family, though? Was that what the problem was? That it didn't have there wasn't a legally 10% for the big guy in this, or?
And Hunter and his lawyer, George Maziers, replaced it with Owasco, which was Hunter Biden's law firm or business that he operated. So he effectively swapped out an entity that he owned 20% of to a business that he owned 100% of.
I see. So you're a disgruntled former employee who thought you were getting a giant slice of, you got bounced from a deal, is the theory. Now, I would argue, prove to me that they did the fake document and you didn't. That would be the question. That once the deal fell apart, you wanted to sue him, so you just made a copy. You're like, this motherfucker tried to kick me out of the deal. Like, that kind of shit.
Which is fraud.
So why would he do that?
Why would he? Because it's a dog-eat-dog world, Tucker. It's business, that's the price of doing business. Wolf of Wall Street shit, American Psycho, I Ching, You know, like shit happens.
A lot of detail we don't, have too much
I understand,
time,
but
at a-
basically,
A lot of detail I don't have time for, but essentially, I'm a sucker. No.
At a high level in July 2017, the Chinese CFC had not funded the $10 million. I was
I rest my case. This is so fucking lame. By the way, this is part 1 of a 2-part interview. Shit never happened. Not only did it never happen with him, it never happened the other one. So prove to me any of these documents are fucking real. Any of them. It sounds to me like Bobulinski was a bullshitter and tried to be a deal maker and was like, I can make some fucking money. And he was chit-chatting these guys and like, yeah, we'd be interested, I suppose. These are, infrastructure projects. My uncle knows how to do that kind of shit. I can bring in investors, that kind of stuff. See what you can drum up. And then he just this asshole drummed up a bunch of fake documents. Prove me wrong. Holy shit.
was extremely frustrated. The Bidens claimed or presented to be frustrated. I got calls from Jim Biden. He was ready to call the Chinese directly and say that
Hunter has some, $15K a month to travel. This is James Gillier. Expectations, chair, vice chair, depending on agreement with CEFC. Hunter 850, CEO, Robert Jim unknown. What he wants. Sanan gets under the EEIG agreement, 72K. Hunter has some office expenses that he will elaborate. Yeah, crack den. Provisional agreement with the equity. 10 held by H for the big guy, question mark.
Biden.
Yeah, who needs metadata, honestly?
Families pulling out of a deal, all well documented in text messages, WhatsApp, and emails. And I didn't
Yeah, show me the metadata. Printouts don't count.
know this at the time, but apparently around that same time, Hunter Biden and his lawyers basically removed Oneida, put Owasco, his law firm, in that, and replaced.
Ooh. What was that edit? Hold on one second. Back the fuck up. In this, it's one thing when they jump past shit. It's another thing when they do. Look how confused Tucker Carlson is. I mean, he always looks like confused, but watch this.
Put Owasco, his law firm, in that, and
See that deep breath he takes right there? What the fuck did they cut out?
put Owasco, his law firm, in that, and replace that.
Right? What the fuck did they take out? Now I don't even know. Replace. All right, never mind.
In that document, getting prepared to basically divert that money into BYZ Holdings.
So they were shafting you without.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what you're saying is you have an axe to grind about a deal that fell through or didn't exist, and you have every reason to fake documents, and you haven't provided metadata for any of this stuff?
Without your knowledge, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's called fraud. Yeah.
And this
Why don't you just sue him in civil court, fucko?
is, I don't see any other explanation for this, do you?
Yeah, I do. I have an idea. I have an explanation. The one he says is real is fake, and the one he says is fake is real. That could also be true. Or both of them are fucking fake. Both of those work for me because you are holding paper.
I'm sure you can reach out to the Biden family and get comment from them.
They're not returning our calls right now. Okay.
They're not returning our calls right now. He's sitting right in fucking front of you. Get him to answer.
So this alone seems to me enough to spur a criminal investigation.
No, civil. Just be civil. Business people. He cut him out of a deal. It's not fraudulent. If a deal is scuttled, how about this? You are on vaudeville. You're in vaudeville. You have a singing and dancing partner. It's you and the skeeve. And the skeeve is a bit problematic and hard to handle and weird to be with. And you show up at the theater, and the theater, we want to sign your act because you and the skeeve bring in the audience every time. We're pretty sure it's all you, but it might be the skeeve as well. So we'll let you perform a couple of times. Turns out skeeve's a problem. So, you know that contract we had? Yeah, scribble that out and put just you in because he's fucking awful. We don't want to work with those other folks, with Skeeve and his friend that comes with him, the one with the bugs. Scratch that out. And so this day, the contract has both of you on it. This day, the contract doesn't have the Skeeve on it, and Skeeve is pissed. And Skeeve goes on Tucker.
By the FBI into what apparently is fraud. The FBI had the contents of the laptop. They've had it.
No, they don't. There is no laptop.
Years now.
No, they don't. No, they don't. They simply don't. There's no proof that they have the laptop at all. Never did.
Has there been an FBI investigation into this?
By the way, according to John Paul McIsaac, it was the laptop itself, when he was removing files and he put it on the little hard drive that he named laptop and passed around to all of his buddies. And when the FBI guys with the Russian accent showed up, he gave them the laptop and one copy of the multiple copies he had made before he handed them out. It had cadavered. It wouldn't boot anymore. It was water damage and it wouldn't start up. The hard drive was ruined. He had gotten as much as he could off of it, and it just didn't work anymore. Like, you couldn't start it up with every possible thing. He removed the physical hard drive. It wouldn't wind up. You could get no more information from the laptop. This was the story he told. We watched him tell this story. Which means even if the FBI has the fucking laptop, there's nothing to be gotten off of it. And the copy that they have is not the only copy, and other files have been added to the copy that allegedly have been given, even if they got it in the first place, which they didn't.
And what's the outcome of it, do you know?
I'm not aware of them focusing on those specific facts. Everything that I've been privy or briefed on is they're focusing on more.
Sorry, Tony Bobulinski has been briefed on FBI investigations? Did I hear that right?
Everything that I've...
The outcome of it, do you know? For years now. Has there been an FBI investigation into this, and what's the outcome of it?
Okay. Has there been an FBI investigation, and what's the outcome?
I'm not aware of them focusing on those specific facts. Everything that I've been privy or briefed on is they're focusing on more legacy tax stuff, FARA stuff. They should be looking into that.
Right. Again, this is the same fucking thing. So stupid. James, thank you so much. By the way, you're watching House Sparks Mega Worldwide. I do the show every day for you. And if you like it, subscribe, give a thumbs up. Or if you're a troll, give a thumbs down. Write something untoward. Please. The only area where I literally ask for comments is if you're a troll, write something stupid in the comment section. It's like, Podcast Family or Trump 2024, that kind of stuff. Because it helps me with the algorithm. It spreads me out in a way that goes beyond the people that I would normally reach. So thanks very much.
But Hunter Biden has not been indicted for this.
No, he is not.
I'm not aware of that.
He's not. I'm not aware of that. Yeah. I'm fairly certain we would know if Hunter Biden had been indicted for anything.
He ultimately, if you actually want to get into more detail, they ultimately...
Oh, I want to get into more detail. You know me, I'm a big fan. More detail, the better.
Evolved from using BYZ Holdings to then just going directly into an entity called Hudson West 3, and that's where he received the, I think, over $5 million across 2017 and 2018, of which he took a portion and paid on a monthly basis to his uncle, Jim Biden, and I think Jim's wife, Sarah, was involved.
You think she was or she was? Would that be the Biden family part? Is this because they married in? Oh, thanks, Balthanos, for trolling. I appreciate it. You know what? If you're a troll, let us know you're a true dyed-in-the-wool troll by super chatting. Something in the tens of thousands of dollars would be helpful. You know what I mean? Do you really troll, bro? All right.
So
How much did Hunter expect to make from his business dealings with the Chinese?
yeah, so not only
How much? Wait a minute. Fuck off. How much did you expect to make, Tony Bobulinski, from the Chinese? You were the direct conduit. You were going to be the CEO of this bridge organization. Fuck Hunter Biden in this. He was a junior partner at best until he kicked you to the curb for being a bullshitter. The question is, the dude in front of you just told you he's the CEO. He was going to be the CEO of Sino-Hawk. Ask him, fucko.
Hunter, I wasn't interested. They had to work on me for years to sort of, call it come off the bench and get involved here. In the spring of 2017,
I didn't want to get involved in this until I heard millions and billions.
I expected CFC was going to deploy billions of dollars through Sino-Hawk, and I was focused on taking those billions of dollars and making a return on it.
And that's all you really cared about. It's not really about profit. You know what I mean? It's not about profit. I just wanted to make sure those billions went to the right places. You know what I mean? Straight up commie. That's what I'm. Hi. Oh, thanks. A tea for my scratchy voice.
Aw.
Thanks. Thank you, my love. Mwah. Everybody misses the dog. I'm just saying. So, and you too, Chip.
He just tried to take a walk outside.
He tried to take a walk. You can't, Chip. You can't escape, buddy. You can't make a run for it.
He wasn't running.
Okay, yeah, he's just like lurking near the door. No, it's not bubble tea. It's just green tea. Just plain green tea. Yeah. Thank you, my love.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Come on.
She'll get you a treat, I promise. I built my stand-up desk today, and Summer's going to help me bring it in here later. I've got it. It won't fit through the door assembled because, like a couch, it won't. Yeah. Anyways, long story. Very excited. It was my. So I might be doing the show standing up soon. That's what. There we go. So let's go. Where was he? Oh yes, he just was trying to. He just wanted to be a shepherd for these lost billions.
And I expected to make.
Wait, Judy Tenuta died? Did I just see that in the chat? Oh man. Poor thing. Love her. Such a sweetheart. Yeah, she'd had ovarian cancer for a while. She was fighting it. Thing. All right, I'm going to. We're gonna smile and laugh today because that's what her life was about. Just a sweetheart, but as I would hope on my own news of my own passing, it should be a day of celebratory laughter because that was the gift of the life. I'm just saying, that's how I'm gonna handle it until I deal with it later emotionally. Because yeah, is that cool with everybody? Hope so, because that's how I'm gonna do it.
Hundreds of millions of dollars. I think the Bidens probably thought they were going to make billions of dollars.
No, I think you thought you were gonna make billions of dollars and you got fucked.
How much do you think Hunter, in the end, got from this, from diverting this money? Do you think he received the money?
So he definitely received the money. I mean, the bank statements have been made public. You know, he received over $5 million, and then I think an incremental $1 million in a...
Yeah, that's, $5 million investment money to start a company, and then...
legal consulting fee to represent Patrick Ho, which is a story in itself.
So this seems very...
There was an edit. A lot of legal edits in this.
Patrick Ho, which is a story in itself.
So this seems...
See that? Which is a story in itself. Apparently, he went into the story and got... By the way, there's a side note in all the Hunter Biden communications, be they real or fake, we do not know, about him going, Daniel Ho's a fucking spy. This is terrible. They killed this dude. I don't want to be in this business. Because he got snatched by the Chinese government, I think. Yeah. We'll look it up. Hold on. There we go.
Seems very cut and dried.
Black and white.
No, it's fucking well not. If it was black and white, you could have gone into the deal itself and the fact, well, I mean, I suppose there's some black and white elements of it, primarily that this fucker thought he was going to be the CEO of a $1 billion company, and they went, oh, this isn't going anywhere. Like, there's money to be made here, but not anywhere near the amount. Okay, so Tony Bobulinski reacts to Biden's voicemail to Sun Hunter. That's staggering. This is, they're going to play something. This is the second half of the same interview.
Retrospect is that 2 years ago, when this story first broke, the usual liars and power worshippers in the media, those of whom the rare few who even acknowledged that Tony Bobulinski existed.
No. We recognized he existed. We just, nobody gave a shit.
Dismissed the story by
the way, part of the reason why, and in all fairness, I think that Tony Bobulinski was less of a story was that there was a lot of overlap in the timing of Bobulinski, I'm standing up against this blah blah that he came out, and Tucker having to fire his head writer for being a white supremacist troll blogger.
saying, well, yeah, but it's Biden's son. It had nothing to do with Biden. As if Hunter Biden would be able to make millions of dollars in, say, Ukraine or China on the basis of his own expertise, which amounted to precisely nothing.
No, he's an investment broker in this, and you can skate on somebody's name. If you know the guy can't disappear, it's a good investment. That's the key point. That's why a lot of these folks work. A lot of the reason why famous people, like the Kardashians or ex-politicians, or especially legacy politicians, where you've got somebody like, Joe Biden and Beau Biden, and the idea that his family legacy is in being upstanding people, and they're going to run on that, and they plan on building a power structure on that, or the Kennedys or some shit like that. The reason you can bank on it is because they can't fucking disappear with your money. In Ukraine, they would try to invest in oil and gas, and then the people that were supposed to be shepherding the money would fucking disappear, either by taking the money or end up dead.
He'd never had a real job. He had no skills. How was he getting so rich?
Dude, you might as well be talking about yourself. Tucker Carlson was born on third base and thought he hit a triple. He was born rich. He's the heir to the Swanson frozen dinner fortune. You think this fucking guy has ever had a meritorious moment in his whole goddamn life? Not a one.
His dad was the vice president. That's how. They were selling access to the United States government,
which they never got,
with Joe Biden's brother. And the money was in part going to Joe Biden.
No, it wasn't.
And that was all very clear because Hunter Biden said it repeatedly on text that any news organization could have read.
But no, we went through those, and they're fake.
Tony Bobulinski already knew that because he saw that. He'd already met.
No, he didn't. Let him fucking say it. Sean Hannity does the same fucking thing. He did it with Trump when he was on. You remember when we did the Trump interview with Sean Hannity, and Trump is all over the fucking place and talking out of his ass, and they had to come back to the segment for the rest of the interview, which wasn't done live. It was edited really heavily. And then right when they came back, remember this, the second half of it, they come back and Hannity does this kind of cliff notes of what he says Trump was trying to say but couldn't get out of his fat fucking face. Remember that? This is the same thing. Don't tell us what he's saying. He was there. He came on your little goofy fucking barnyard set. Ask him. If it's so clear and concise, get Tony Bobulinski to say it. But he can't. And he's cutting huge chunks out of what Tony Bobulinski is saying because it waters down the entire argument. You're like, because they're cutting down every moment. The editor's only job in this interview is, you can tell he's full of shit. Cut that line. He's wandering again. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Cut that part out. Yeah, take this statement and this statement, buttress them together so it looks like he knows what he's talking about. That's what this is.
With Joe Biden directly. So we asked...
No, not with Joe Biden directly. With James Biden and Hunter Biden. And they both were like, fuck this guy.
him again about this. Put some flesh on those bones. And he did. Watch.
All right, here we go. He's putting the flesh on the bones.
You were business partners with Hunter and Jim Biden, Joe Biden's son and brother.
Correct.
Both of them, Hunter Biden has received some coverage for his art.
I call it the Biden family because, as you know, it's been...
Right. I get to that point again. I call it the Biden family because nobody gives a fuck if it's just Hunter and James. That's why he calls it the Biden family, because he's learned, and by the way, Tucker Carlson and everybody at Fox News also get him to say, like, don't say Hunter Biden because everybody knows nobody gives a shit. It's Billy Carter bullshit. Nobody cares. Say the Biden family because it's two of them, and that's enough to mean family members.
Well, I say well documented. You well documented it, but
No, he didn't.
I met with Joe multiple times.
Yes.
And now, subsequent to the election, he's now the sitting president of the United States.
Well, thanks for at least acknowledging that.
But there are hundreds of data points that Joe Biden was acting in a capitalistic term, I would say the chairman. The chairman of J.P. Morgan doesn't take 8 meetings down with the people, analyzing companies. The chairman serves a purpose, right? He's a figurehead. He shows up in
Oh, like a CEO?
meetings, shakes hands, advises, has faith in his team. Effectively, that was Joe Biden's role.
Now, I want to hear effectively, motherfucker. Because you can dust anybody with that. Effectively, Donald Trump was running his company through his children while he was president and still losing money. Effectively, he didn't have to be in the room with Jared and the fucking Russian woman, right? Effectively, Jared just had to bring his phone to the meeting with the woman who wanted the Magnitsky Act scuttled, and just have it on, just have him there on FaceTime or on speaker the whole time. Effectively. Get fucked.
Role.
Dude doesn't, first of all, no metadata on any of these texts or emails, and now he's saying effectively. Get the fuck out of here.
Biden family business ventures and around the world, and not just my venture. I met with him multiple times. I think it was the day.
Whoop, another edit.
World, and not just my venture. I met with him multiple times. I think it was
See that?
around the world, and not just my venture. I met with him multiple times. I think it was the Daily Mail that made a recording public where Joe Biden reaches out.
Look at that. What the fuck? We're just jumping straight to that? If you're putting the meat on the bones, what's Tucker? Jeffrey Dahmer?
To Hunter Biden in December 2018, after the New York Times had published a extensive article on CFC, Chairman Yi, and how they were deploying billions of dollars around the world.
Around the world. Not to these guys, not to Hunter Biden, not through this. By the way, this is what he was hoping for. This dude's getting a mild chub every time he brings up the potential for this. He's Chairman Yi and the guy who's in charge of the Belt and Road Initiative.
With different governments basically acting as the capitalistic arm of One Belt, One Road.
All right. That also basically acting as the capitalistic arm of One Belt, One. Okay. There is no capitalist arm to it. These are all financial endeavors, like Lend-Lease, effectively, programs that the Chinese government is doing. There's no profit making in this. But look at the fucking edits.
Different governance.
Look at this again.
Basically acting as the capitalistic arm of One Belt, One Road.
So I'd like to play that.
See these, look at these slices. Oh, I'd like to play that. Okay, he's getting bored, so Tucker jumps in.
Voicemail. This is from the sitting president of the United States. This is from Joe Biden to his son, Hunter.
Yeah, not at the time.
Hey, Palestad, it's 8:15 on Wednesday night. If you get a chance, give me a call. Nothing urgent. Just want to talk to you. I thought the article, at least the thing online, that's going to be printed tomorrow in the Times, was good. I think it's clear. And anyway, if you get a chance, give me a call. I love you.
I mean, that's it.
That's staggering.
Staggering. I think you're clear. I don't think anything's going to hurt you. Like, oh, yeah, he talked to his son. Like, honest to God. This is their idea of a smoking gun. There was a shit talking article in 2018 about him. And by the way, why wouldn't you put the article up on screen? Why wouldn't you reference the exact article? Why don't you put that 2018 article, whatever it is, that they're referencing in this? Why wouldn't you put that up on the screen and go, this article was coming up, he called him the next night? I'll tell you why. Because it ain't that bad if you show the article. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on one second. 2018 article, Hunter Biden. Yeah. I think this, here's the thing. I can't know for sure which one they're referencing in this, but this is 2018. Ye Jianming courted the Biden family and networked with former United States security officials. Today, his empire is crashing down in court. A Chinese tycoon sought power and influence. Washington responded. This is December 12th, 2018. He struck billions of dollars worth of deals in Russia, Eastern Europe, and Africa. He saw business in war-torn places like Chad and with international pariahs like North Korea. Ye Jianming, a fast-rising Chinese oil tycoon, ventured to places only the most politically connected Chinese companies dared to go. But what he wanted was access to the corridors of power in Washington, and he set out to get it. Soon he was meeting with the family of Joseph R. Biden Jr., who was then vice president. He dined with James Woolsey Jr., a former Central Intelligence director, and later senior advisor to President Trump. They're going to drop that part. So this dude met with James and Hunter, and then they cut off ties and he went and took a shit. He met with this dude, with Woolsey, and Woolsey was later hired by Trump. He bestowed lavish funding on universities, think tanks with direct access to top Washington leaders looking for benefits access can bring. He asked one former American security official if he bought oil fields in Syria, could the former official persuade the U.S. military not to bomb them? That effort has unraveled. Dude, here's the only way this dude doesn't at least get a toehold. You have to be completely racist. He shows up. He's a Chinese businessman. They millions of dollars. So I'm investing all over the world. I've got projects here and there. I'm interested in getting into this. It sounds great, blah, blah, blah. And then he brings the ask. And the day he brings the ask, everybody goes, fuck you. Except, it seems, Trump, who hired Woolsey, who had met with the guy after this all went down. That effort has unraveled. He is in Chinese custody and is under investigation for unspecified crimes. The trial and conviction in New York last week of one of his top lieutenants, Patrick Ho, showed that company officials used bribery to win oil and energy contracts in Africa. China's rise in political power and wealth has created a new generation of business tycoons who clout and cash can open doors. Former Washington officials, many with access to the White House and American military intelligence institution, have proven to be eager to help. But the fall of Ye Jianming shows that China's lack of openness can make it difficult to know who exactly is sitting on the Chinese side of the table. On the American side, some don't ask enough questions or never asked any at all. It's a relationship that is more fraught given the trade tensions between the two countries, which were recently heightened by the arrest of top Chinese technology executive on the request of American prosecutors. That's the woman from Huawei, I think, is what they're referencing. She was nabbed in Canada. Friends in high places. Ye believes the grandson of famous Chinese military leader. Those with high hopes led to full Rolodexes. Last year, American authorities closed in on Mr. Ye's company. The first call came by one of his emissaries in custody. Last year, as American authorities closed in on Mr. Ye's company, the first call made by one of his emissaries in custody was to Mr. Biden's brother. In China, if you can provide proof of association with a high-level official, you're assumed to be too powerful. It signals to anyone who gets in trouble that you are connected. Yeah, so what you do is you call friends in high places and they automatically get you out. And what they find is it doesn't work that way over here. I mean, obviously, Florida would like it to work that way. DeSantis would like every Jeffrey Epstein to have their own key to the jail and let themselves out anytime they want. Of heroes moment, was a hero of the Chinese Communist Revolution. Ye Jianying, that was his grandfather. Marshal Ye, Mao once said, "Save the party, save the Red Army, saved us." Right. There's just backstory on him. Harry got his money, blah, blah, blah. Best things. Okay, this is just, here's CEFC. Okay. He seemed to have the blessing of Beijing. State banks offered CEFC billions of dollars in loans. The company also hired a large number of former military officers whom Mr. Ye told visitors he prized for their organizational skills. He was the deputy secretary of the Chinese military organization from 2003 to 5. That congressional research called a Front for the People's Liberation Army unit that has dual roles of intelligence collecting and conducting People's Republic of China propaganda. This has been true forever. But everybody was hoping that China was normalizing following the Jiang Zemin system of openness. And that eventually they could go, hey, it's, you can make money and you do deals and that kind of stuff, but don't close off everything and run off with everybody's money. And ultimately what happened, they closed off and ran off with everybody's money. Hi, Amy. How are you? We're doing good. I'm glad you're good. Nice to see you. Everybody's solid. Thank you for asking. As the company prospered, he moved to Shanghai. Okay, so the Chinese government builds this thing up, and then they're going to use it for this Belt and Road Initiative. They've got to do deals with everybody, so they've got to get these guys who can be friendly with everybody. He's a fake millionaire, like all the fake millionaires there. In Israel, the former defense minister, Victor Lieberman, presented him with the Yakir, meaning the Beloved of the Jewish People Award. Like they were schmoozing people. This is him. They're handing out money. They're trying to make deals. They're pretending to be open. They're coaxing and prodding. And then eventually people wake up in the middle of it and go, wait a minute, fuck this. Which is exactly what happened with Hunter Biden, it seems. This is exactly why wouldn't we do business with China? We've got trade deals. There's that kind of stuff. And then they're like, okay, hang on a fucking second. Meanwhile, the darling of the right, Elon Musk, just right before COVID shows his plans to open his gigafactory there and has no plans to shutter the fucking place, while Apple and everybody else is heading for the hills. Met Alan Greenspan. That's, of course, better known to most people, I think, as Mr. Andrea Mitchell. Let's see, interest in buying the ethanol plant. So they go around asking to buy shit with, okay. Also further loosened the purse string, donating as much as $100,000 to the Clinton Foundation outside the Beltway. Yeah, so they were donating money everywhere to build influence, trying to buy their way in. Organized forums in Hong Kong and Washington that brought together retired American and Chinese military officers, among other events, all while it continued to network. They kept coming back saying, can we organize contacts, Mr. Pintikoff said. It wasn't long before Yi began to strike deals in the United States. They agreed to buy 1/5 of Cohen, a New York boutique investment banking firm, for $100 million, though the deal never never received approval in Washington and was abandoned. This is what happened to a bunch of these fucking things. Yeah, we saw that, Bob. I'm still dealing. Thank you, Sheet Pants. Most politically connected quarry yet, the family of Biden. An aide to Mr. Yi met with Hunter in Washington, blah, blah, during this period. He was managing Rosemont Seneca Partners, an investment firm, blah, blah, blah. Here it is. There we go. It is unclear whether Hunter Biden struck any business deals with CEFC or Mr. Yi, though his attorney, through his attorney, Hunter Biden declined to comment. None of the deals went through. They attempted to jumpstart some stuff. They looked like some baseline stuff, and then they just went away. And by the way, this heavily edited, disgustingly redacted bullshit interview that Tucker Carlson is ball cradling Tony Bobulinski through, is proof of shit.
Sitting president of the United States. But that's Joe Biden in his own voice telling the American people, I was always well aware of the business ventures my family was involved.
From that, this.
The thing online, it's going to be printed tomorrow in the Times, was good. I think it's clear. And anyway, if you get a chance, give me a call. I love you.
I mean, that's it.
That's staggering.
Again, why? I still don't know why this is staggering. Like
The sitting
and by the way, he's not the sitting president when he calls him. This is
president of the United States.
the current president of the United States when he wasn't president,
It's Joe Biden in his own voice telling the American people,
telling his son that he loves him.
I was always well aware of the business ventures my family was involved.
No, he's not. He just read an article and is like, you don't look bad in the article. I think you're clear. Even if he didn't fucking know. I don't like, it's so weird.
So much so I could tell my son I read a detailed article that has 50 facts in it.
50. Well, I will say that it has 50 more facts than this fucking interview has.
Imagine just sitting in a room with national security and the intel agencies with that article, talking about corruption, talking about China, talking about the Chinese Communist Party, the Liberation Army of China.
The Liberation Army? You mean the PLA, the People's Liberation Army? I'm sorry. He knows them personally, so I guess they call him he's owning the Liberation Army.
Joe Biden is saying, I read that article and you're in the clear, Hunter.
Yeah.
And he leaves that voicemail for his son.
So,
Edit.
do you think that the Bidens were aware of the effects on the United States of doing business with China?
Okay. Do you think he was aware with the effects on the United States of doing business with China? What do you think? Do you think Biden owns a team in the NB fucking A? Hold on. Well, here's a little article from a guy named Marco Rubio back in the day. Donald Trump proudly outsources jobs to China, Mexico, and other countries. October 2015, Trump said that's true, that Trump clothing line is made in part in Mexico and China. April 2011, ABC News, Donald Trump blames China for the fact that much of his gear is made in China. Donald Trump told students at Trump University that outsourcing jobs is not always a terrible thing. This is from Marco Rubio's website back in, or like an article he posted on that site back then. Let's see. Hold on one second. Do you think the president knew the dangers, the damage, the awfulness of doing business with oh shit. This is so fucking dumb. Secondly, Um, let's see. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, so in 2010, News Corp, the company that owns Fox News, sold their 3 channels. I think 3 of them. Yeah, 3 Chinese TV channels to a fund backed by China's number 2 media company, which is more than 51% owned by the Chinese government, the CCP. Just saying. They built channels up over there and then sold them to the Chinese government.
It's funny. I think in their mind, they view Russia as a bigger threat than China.
So did you, fucko. You were going to be CEO of Sinohawk.
They sort of talk and operate like that, which was always surprising to me. But I think they're well aware of it. The magnitude, Hunter in his own words talks about being in business with the spy chief of China.
Yeah, when he was getting out of it, when they realized these deals were fucked up, the deals that this fucker brought to them. This guy was, I like, these would be great. We'll do a joint venture thing, and it's going to be awesome. And then they found out, not so awesome.
Did you ever talk to Hunter Biden directly about this?
Obviously, I was aware of what was...
Was that an edit too?
Talk to Hunter Biden directly about this?
Obviously, I was aware of what was being done in 2015 and 2016 by James Gillier and Rob Walker with the Chinese company CFC while Joe Biden was still the sitting vice president of the United States. There was a text message where I was early on having discussions with Hunter about, what is CFC focused on, and Chairman Yi, are they...
By the way, it's CEFC. It's not CFC. It's not chlorofluorocarbons. I know I know it's kind of nitpicking, but he says it all the fucking time, and he supposedly was like building a business with these fuckers.
Doing any deal, or what kind of deals? And Hunter, in a very long text message, just says, we're willing to do any deals, except I think he excluded,
Also, is the chairman just doing infrastructure, or are you looking for technology deals? And look at Hunter Biden's response. Everything. Only thing I told him was I would not do is defense-related technology and arms and anything that would give the Chinese a military advantage. I'm just saying this takes a giant dump on the argument. This was Hunter Biden's response to Tony Bobulinski when they were according to him. We'll do what he's talking about, like roads, bridges, hydroelectric power, dams, factories. Who gives a fuck? But nothing that will give the Chinese a military advantage, which would mean they're going to go through each of these things and go, none of this, any technology, any software, any kind of deal that would give them, if the Chinese military owns or is part owner in this, we're out. And that's what happened.
military tech that would give the Chinese military an advantage over the United States military. But outside of that, they're...
Yeah, which is the only thing outside of that is roads and bridges. It is. Oh, sorry. Yes, the people are asking. This is the new Nerd Halen shirt. It's just a lucky break that it looks like Can't Stop Lying in a pair of glasses. I just think I'm cool with that both ways. They're follow at Nerd Halen and please buy them because Caleb is sweating because he bought merch shirts and he doesn't know how to sell them when we're live. And last night we had a merch table and they put it in an area where there were no lights on it. And he was like, nobody can find me. And so he basically left with the same amount of shirts he brought. We sold a couple, but mainly because it's a casino. They never let you sell it because they don't want anybody to make money. But them, I completely understand. Anyways, at Nerdhalen, nerdhalen.com, yeah.
They were ready and willing to do any other deal.
So you said
any other deal that wouldn't give the Chinese military a leg up. And since they're in almost every technological arena, that's fucking everything but asphalt, dummy.
they viewed...
Is Hal a Dave guy or a Sammy guy? Chris, we do both. Nerdhalen does Sammy Hagar songs and David Lee Roth songs. I do them both at the same fucking time. The same night. Same show. Find me a singer that can do both. Come on, find it.
Russia, and it's clearly true that they do, as a bigger threat than China, and as someone who has worked around the world.
They are. Russia is a violent threat. Russia hacks our infrastructure. They hack pipelines. They hack hospitals. They don't give a fuck if people are murdered. The Chinese were doing business stuff. They're an economic threat. There's a huge difference between somebody who might cheat you at 3-card Monte and someone who will blow your fucking brains out the minute you turn your back. And if you can't tell the difference, you shouldn't be in a position of power.
You think that's ludicrous. But
then you're a broke asshole who everybody seems to kick out of every deal you ever make.
They were also willing to do business deals with Russia, correct?
They were. And there's a very well documented,
What, the mayor of Moscow's wife? Is that the deal with Russia?
Senator Johnson and Senator Grassley. And sadly enough, it came...
Oh, you mean the guys who went to Russia on the 4th of July and had secret meetings with Putin with no note takers present? You mean those guys?
Out after the election, but they, they initially published a report in September 2020. 2 weeks after the election, in November 2020, they published a 70-page document that's publicly available to anybody that's watching this that wants to review it. That goes through in detail the involvement of Hunter Biden and the Biden family.
Again, and the Biden family. No, it doesn't. And what it does exclude in that report, that 70-page report he's talking about, is Joe Biden. So what he's trying to do is scoop Joe Biden in on this bullshit as if there's a there in the first fucking place.
With knowledge of a deal that was being struck between CFC buying a
CEFC
$9 billion stake in the U.S.-sanctioned, Russian-controlled by Putin energy company and writing a $9 billion check. They weren't a silent partner and, we're going to put $9 million or $90 million or $900 million. They were buying a $9 billion stake, approximately 14% of Rosneft.
Okay, what he's trying to tell you is China, through CEFC, which is 50% owned by the government, 50% private, and he's saying is the capitalist arm of the Belt and Road Initiative. The CEFC, the company that he set up a deal with, was going to be the bridge partner CEO of a company that had a deal with CEFC, and it fell fucking through. That company, via the Chinese government, was buying a $9 billion stake in a Russian oil and gas company. So fucking what?
Once again, U.S.-sanctioned, Putin-controlled Russian energy company, and Hunter Biden and the Biden family were right in the middle of all of that.
No, they weren't. They didn't broker that fucking deal. Being in a deal with you, they were no more in the middle of that fucking deal than the Nigerian government was in the middle of that deal because they had a deal with the Belt and Road Initiative.
Have you had any contact with Hunter or Jim Biden?
No, the last...
It's weird. They Nobody returns my calls, least of all them.
So the last contact I had with the Biden family is actually when I was in my...
Sorry.
No, the last... So the last contact I had with the Biden family is actually when I was...
Cut. Notice his laugh just slices right out of there.
In my interview with the FBI on October 23rd for that 5+ hours, on my BlackBerry, Jim Biden called me via WhatsApp. And, you know, I was there voluntarily, but so my phone starts ringing in the middle of this interview. So I look down and I'm like, is he really calling me right now? So I show the phone to my lawyer, and he's like, and then I show it to the agents. The agents got up out of their chair and left the room. They were like, you can take that call if you want. And
right, because it's unrelated and who cares?
So I answered it, and there was nobody on the other side.
Okay. So this fucker gets like ghost calls from WhatsApp accounts that say they're Biden's, and he takes them in like credulously.
So I don't know if it was a mistake or they were trying to send me a message or what it was, but that's the last.
Yeah. By the way, this interview is the only remaining video of him, of course, because he's part of the Biden body count. He got they pushed him out a third floor window, and unfortunately he bounced. So they had to hire a cousin of Jet Li's to kill him in a very slow way by making him make poor dietary choices. He's not dead yet, but I mean, it's coming. It's just might take as many as 30 years, and no one wishes it on him, but it's clearly part of the Biden plan.
Interaction or communication I've had with the Biden family.
So you are the key to this story.
He's the keymaster of Gozer. Voga Sildroata, Lord of the Sebalia. Right? That makes Tucker the gatekeeper.
And there's a lot at stake.
I wish I wasn't, but yeah.
Of course.
Is there a lot at stake?
You didn't choose it, obviously.
Obviously, you didn't choose it. You just were planning on being CEO of a company called Sinohawk, which was a bridge group between a Delaware LLC put together by investors who you had bullshitted into thinking this was going someplace. And when they kicked you to the curb and then they went, oh, this was bullshit to start with, you're mad and going on Tucker.
But you are, and there's an awful lot at stake.
No, there isn't. There is fucking nothing at stake with this. The stakes could not be lower.
Are you concerned about
your safety? Are you worried that just by coming on television, are you worried about, do you start your car with an app? Jesus Christ.
The consequences might be for you and your family.
You and your family, yes.
Folks, I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. Not a joke. Not a joke.
Yeah, of course. I mean,
obviously I'm in hiding. I appreciate you letting me stay in your barn for a little while. I washed the ball tanner, and I don't know why the stains aren't coming out. It's my first time using them. The guy left. Are you going to oil me up, or is there a guy that comes and oils me up? Or I don't know. I was watching you in the edit bay, and I couldn't tell who was in charge. My
immediate family, my extended family.
Yes, anyone with the name with a ski on the end of their name. Anyone at a ski resort is in danger of being snuffed by the Biden family because obviously they have a wanton disregard for human life. I mean, did you hear Joe Biden yesterday saying we should execute drug dealers? Quick trial. If you find out later that they were actually innocent, fuck them. Remember when he said that? Is that him? That wasn't him. Never mind.
Concerned, but the good news is they're all patriots. You know, we all bleed red, white, and blue. We bleed.
I would see a doctor because that means either some of that's blood, but that might be pus or septicemia. I don't know what white and blue would be.
Leaving this country, the greatest country in the world, hands down. And these facts matter. I don't matter. The facts matter.
Which facts would those be? Because we don't have any. You know what the only fact we really saw that was kind of stand out in this is that this asshole said, what kind of deals are you into? What kind of deals would you be open to Hunter Biden? And Hunter Biden's response was, well, not anything that would endanger the United States.
And the American people deserve to know them and verify them, and ask their senators and congressmen to verify them, and ultimately hold the Biden family and the current administration accountable for them.
For what?
Imagine this, to this day, 2 years, Joe Biden is yet to be asked, did he ever meet with me?
Honest to God, he'll be 80 in November. I wouldn't remember meeting with you. I would absolutely did I meet that guy? Or is that shit? I think I was sitting on a curb and I turned and there was a fire hydrant.
Not one time.
Not one time.
So we've had 2 years to look into you.
And you're doing great.
We looked into you before our first interview. And I should say, just because I think our viewers should know, we've interviewed a lot of whistleblowers. I have over 30 years, more than. And,
You're 30 years as a whistleblower. And if you'd like your whistle blown, he's the guy to do it. As a matter of fact, that's how he ends all interviews.
A lot of them are telling the truth, probably most, but almost all of them want something. And we can say, because we verified it, you're not actually looking for anything. You don't need the money, that's for sure. It's only downside for you. And that's...
No. Because if Hunter Biden is charged with fraud in this case, he can file a civil suit for financial damages after the fact. And it saves him money if the government does the job for him. If he files and loses, then the chance of the prosecutor would have to make a negotiation with Hunter Biden about, pleading the fifth or any of those kind of things. And if Hunter Biden says, no, I'm going to speak openly about this stuff, I was denied my, you can't try me on stuff I said in a civil case after the fact because I wasn't admitting to a crime. I was just brooming some fucker from a bad business deal.
It's one of the reasons we were confident enough in you to do a second interview.
No, it wasn't confident in you. Yeah, it took you 2 fucking years. And it just timed out that we're within 45 days of the midterms. And you got shit.
Why are you coming out now again?
I'm coming out now because American people still are being...
Another edit.
Why are you coming out now again?
I'm coming out now because American people...
See that? What the fuck? Why would you cut that out? I'm coming out now because I got something to say and it's super important. And, what the hell?
Why are you coming out now again?
I'm coming out now because American people still are being lied to about the facts.
Yeah, that's not a reason to come out now. That's a reason to always be out about it if it's an ongoing concern.
Right? Nothing's been done.
What's supposed to be done? You want this guy charged with fraud for a business deal that you were a part of?
They're still thinking, oh, that deal never happened.
It didn't. You just told us it didn't. We know it didn't.
Or, Hunter Biden was a troubled child.
He was.
They're not aware of the tens of millions of dollars, the thousands of, pages of documentation and the facts. The DOJ is claiming they had to couch this. They can't do anything near an election. I don't want to be sitting here in December and they actually indict Hunter Biden. And then the American people are like, why weren't we made aware of those facts?
First of all, Biden's not even fucking running. This is a midterm, fucko. And secondly, Hunter Biden's not running for goddamn Congress. What the fuck?
This is crazy.
No, this is dumb.
I would have changed my vote for that congressman or that senator.
You would have?
Or that governor or that attorney general.
Really? Why?
So,
honest to God, I don't...
that's why I'm coming out now. And
Yeah, by the way, and he is admitting something. He is admitting something. This is very important. he is admitting that this is all about the fucking midterms. There's zero facts in this. If anything, this exonerates Hunter Biden, who's basically like, I'm not going to do anything that hurts the United States. I'm in it to make money, but I'm not going to do anything that would harm the United States. That's it. And again, Biden's not running in this election. Hunter's not running in any election. What the fuck?
I referenced earlier, I came back from summer travel to find out that the person that was running point on the trove of documents and text messages that were provided to the FBI just suddenly retired and walked out of the building.
Does
Again, so fucking what?
it, I mean, you've got the most powerful agencies in the world, the FBI and the CIA, working against you.
No, they're not. They are not working against, they don't have to work against Tony Bobulinski. Nobody gives a fuck about Tony Bobulinski. The FBI is not, nobody at the FBI or the NSA or the CIA is waking up in a fucking cold sweat.
That's not an overstatement. We've seen it happen.
Yeah.
Yes, it is an overstatement, and you have fucking not. What are you talking about?
I mean,
You
that's
just made my heart skip, but
it's true.
Yeah, I can't believe I'm in a barn with no fucking glass in the windows. This is so scary.
And that's quite an array of opponents.
red, white, and blue. Greatest.
Jesus Christ. What? Always fall back. Amen, Jesus Christ. Lee Greenwood. Blue Lives Matter.
Country on the face of the earth. I believe.
Then why were you doing deals with China in the first fucking place? Why did you have to ask? Why weren't... Here's a question. Holy shit. Why wasn't Tony Bobulinski the one who said in the text message, look, I don't know what you're feeling about this, Hunter, but I'm not going to be involved in any deals that deal with, military technology or anything that would give the military an edge. Why was it Hunter Biden that said that and not this fucking guy? Answer me that, right? If he bleeds red, white, and blue, why wasn't that his thought? Right? It's fucking lame. If this asshole thinks he's a patriot, Hunter Biden taught him what it means to be a patriot.
Facts matter, and the truth ultimately will come out.
Yeah, well, it did. You showed us text messages. You played a audio clip of Joe Biden saying, I think you're going to be fine. You're okay. To his son. You're in the clear. Nobody's going to fuck with you. You know, don't worry so much. God knows about the other conversations that they had. They're not playing the actual conversations where he's like, Dad, I'm sweating about this. They're going to think I'm part of this, or they're going to think I don't love the country. Or they think I did business with this fucking guy and he's going down and I never want to be a part of this bullshit. And then he said, it's coming out tomorrow. I think you're in the clear. That's a conversation parents have with their kid, with their son. Totally. Meanwhile, this dipshit, in the text message he shows, Hunter Biden literally says, I'm not going to be involved with it if it endangers the United States or gives an edge to the Chinese military. And it was Hunter Biden that said that, not Tony Bobulinski. Tony Bobulinski could have started that conversation going, guys, we're doing business with these guys. And it's always true because the Chinese government's in, they own a controlling interest. And we know this. And that's just the issue of dealing, with China. And that's always been the case since the opening and blah, blah, blah. And we got to watch out for this, but I got to let you guys know I'm not going to do anything that would involve military hardware, software, or technology that would give the Chinese military an upper hand, right? Why didn't Tony Bobulinski say that? Why didn't Tucker Carlson ask him that? Just shit. You're watching Hal Sparks Mega Worldwide. They post that clip. That's the whole interview. That's it. That's the whole fucking thing.